What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. Okay, first off, let's do this, shall we? There's a lot of things I need to cover. So, nobody's posting out builds. So, Skinny Chick seems to be leading the pack. He's got the Deadlands, Magic of DK, PvE guide. So this is the top DPS output. So this is his configuration. We're going to go a stat review. His stat review over mine. And we'll even take one thing out of consideration once we go over the stat sheet. So, One Piece Slime Crawl, Kilt. Who taught them that, by the way? Anybody know? Anybody know who came up with that first? Hashtag timestamps matter. Oh, that's right. Never mind. Moving on. Slime Crawl, Bases, Kilt. Now, here's what's kind of stunned me. Bases and Sororia. Okay. Say it, homies, say what? I'll go over that. I'll go over that in a second. Because that, to me, about made me spit my fucking drink out. And I'll show you why. And then Sororia Inferno staff. And then he has the Maelstrom Inferno staff. You can use the daggers if you want. And I've linked the description below. Okay. Right there, Maelstrom Inferno staff. Inferno. Interesting. Here's the setup. Now he said, "Oh, divine. There's no such thing as a diminishing return in this game." No, there's not. There's not. Who in the fuck lets these people fucking just... Here's the setup. Flame damage precise. The reason staff's kind of good, in certain fights, you don't have melee range. So Infernos are good. Daggers, I agree with them. Daggers is a good option. So I agree with that. So I agree. You know. Soror is a good set. You know. I also like his call on the infused with the weapon damage enchantment. I agree with that too. I really do. It's just the way to go. Slime Crawl Kilt. Well, you know. Some genius thought of that and hit up the curve ahead of time. I don't know. Some brilliant individual. But Divine? Ooh. Then Bases. Now, what's the problem here? And does anybody want to see the problem? I got perfected on, by the way. Not that everybody will have perfected, but I did put the perfected on intentionally just to give the stats the boost. Does anybody see a problem with this combo? I don't know. Does anybody see it? Does anybody see a problem with this combo, this setup? Anybody? I don't know. Anybody? Let me check the comments. Anybody? What's up, Ross? I see you mentioned Skinny Cheeks. What I miss? Oh, we're doing a stat review, Dave. We're doing a stat review of his build right here. Bases and Sororia. Top DPS. But we're going to do a stat review. Stat. Does anybody see a problem? Anybody? I don't know. Here's Bases. I got perfected. But, I mean, anybody see some conflict? It's just, there's something just there that makes no sense. Does anybody see it? Does anybody see something here? Anybody? I don't know. I don't know. Something's missing here. Oh, that's right. 2 minor slayers. Interesting. Very interesting. It's divine. Everything's max magica on this, by the way. Bosses, kilt. And we got not one, not two, all three bloodthirsties. All three. All three are bloodthirsty because 90% of the time we don't want that extra spell damage. No. We wanted it the last 10% of the fight. That's where it matters the most, right? It's where it matters the most. Now, here's his skills, his layout. Back bar, eruption, barb trap. Now, I'm going to give it up to him for this. This was a good call. This was a good call. And he thought about the 2 medium. Give it up for that one too. Unstable wall fire. Now, why do I use the lightning staff? Why? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we wouldn't want the extra damage on AoEs, would we? No. Fuck. No. We want that combustion passive. The DK isn't going to keep it up 100% of the time anyways, given the fact that, you know, it like, you know, what? How often does combustion do? Every 0.5 seconds? We got to have a flame staff just to have the wall. Because yeah, okay. Scalding Rune. This is actually a pretty decent skill. Mist Orbs, classic. Standard of Might, yeah. If it's your bread and butter, if it's your preference, you know, sure. Now I'm also going to give it up to the man for Flawless Dawnbreaker. He knows about the scaling at 3%. That matters. It's good. It's good. But, you know, we're using Boss A's. So we have to have Inner Light. Because we got to dump. We'll get the Max Magicka scale. I mean, the 10-to-1 is irrelevant. I mean, it's irrelevant, right? You guys know that. There's a 10-to-1 conversion on max stats versus spell damage. Right? We all know that. I mean, we're sitting at 34,000, almost 35. I mean, that's pretty impressive. You know. Now, 30,000 is about 3,000. 30,000 max magicka is roughly around 3,000 spell damage. Give or take a few. Don't know if people know that. I do. But, yeah. Whatever. Pretty much this layout's pretty good. Molten Whip's really good. He's not going to get the off balance. He talks about that. I recommend watching the video. You know, so. We'll whatever. Now, we're going to see what everything stacks up to. Right? Okay, so his beginning stat sheets look like this. The crit's at 52%. We're definitely going to get higher with the kilt. And given the fact that we're using the Thief Mundus, that's going to amp our, you know, percentage up, you know, quite a nice bit. You should be able to sustain problem. Here's the only problem I have. Right? There's one major problem with this build, too. You know, you're going to be dependent on Spell Pot. I think he goes over that, but you're going to be dependent on it. And if you're going to be using Bosses, well, that's a problem because you're drinking pots, man. But we'll go over the stat sheet review. We'll see what his Burning Embers is going to be procking up at. And his Engulfing Flames and stuff, his dots. Because, you know, I'll be going over my build. And we'll do a comparison in the dot range. In the stat sheet. I'm sure the man's great. Because this is the meta. Am I right? Whatever he says is meta. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? The man knows math, right? Am I wrong? Happy Veterans Day, by the way, to all my servicemen and women out there. This is meta! Fucking god dang it. Okay, so I'm going to drink it and dump immediately. Now I just want to get that Sororia proc. And then we're going to see the scale. And our crit width has been up to 61.5. I think we can get a little bit more out of it. So... $67 and 63.8. So we got a 67 spell damage. That's pretty good. Now we should be out of max stat. So our max crit's going to be 63 with this build. With a 67, it looks like a 67 spell damage. About 65, 67. Max with the max 63. 38,000 max magicka. No. That's interesting. Now, we were going to see how that's going to affect his skill. Burning Embers has gotten up to 26.5. Flames is 20. That's pretty impressive. 26 and 20, roughly. That's pretty good. Even, you know, whatever. Now, a lot of times you're not going to use Kilt. He'll go over that. Death Feat. I think he's done a really good job there. Now, if you weren't using Bosses, you would get a lot more. Just for the simple fact that you could take out the Inner Light. So I'm just going to mention that right from the rip. By slotting the Camo Hunter instead. Okay. But Bosses, the more you go down. And the whips are hitting really nice in this build. So given the fact that Bosses, the more you're going down. And the fact that the combustion, you know, is every 5. It does give you a nice range. But when you hit that pot for that spell power, it boosts up significantly. Significantly. So he's adapted well, in my opinion, and you know, I'm not trying to be whatever. He's adapted well to the Flawless. He's adapted well to the Barb Trap, because I said Medusa's isn't going to be utilized anymore. Why? Because you're going to get more. Medusa's is out the fucking door completely. It's garbage. El Nito, you know, done. Right? It's done. My only problem with this, like if people don't have Perfected, they're going to be having a double stat on the Slayer. Therein lies the problem. Because when you're on this bar, you have a stat that's gone. It is gone. It's gone. Because you have a static Bosses with a minor Slayer. Even with Perfected, on your Maelstrom staff, you're going to lose a stat. No two ways about it. I give it up to the fact that the man also knows about the 2 medium. And that, you know, he did make the recommendation or whatever. And the daggers to the staffs, you know, as far as statting and whatever, and how he talks about range, he puts good clarification there. But this is the meta. This was the stats. This was a stat review. Now, 3 Bloodthirsties, I don't do it. But let's go over my stats. I use 1 Bloodthirsty. Why? I want that extra fucking damage. 90% of the time. I ain't gonna fucking lie. I don't fucking think so. Now, I could set this up for the kilt, but I don't even need the fucking kilt. I could. I very well could, because that's what I've said. How to do that. I'm the one that introduced everybody to that. Hashtag timestamps matter. Now, one thing I'm going to point out here, and I've said this in my build video. Unless a tank has the behemoths, you want it. But let's say the tank has it. What did I say your option was going to be? Dalmahas. Now, I think he does go over that in there, but definitely Dalmahas. Right? Now, I'm taking Slime Crawl out. Right? And we'll put what? Infuse max health. There's a diminishing return. There's math involved. It's called math. If you ignore the law of diminishing marginal return, it bites you in the ass. Every fucking time. Every time. Now, I'm actually going to leave his rotation on the board for the most part, except I'm going to make one alteration because I have to. I'm going to make two, actually. So, because I'm going to be using the daggers and the lightning staff of Spell Powered Cure. Now, I would never get caught, even as a DK, with a flame staff. All of my AoEs always get laid on a lightning staff. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a flying fuck who you think you are. You ignoring math? You ignoring math? You replace his lightning staff, his AoEs do more damage. Right? Why? Well, let's take a look at that one just by itself. Right? He's using Eruption on this bar. Lightning staff, 608. He's going to use Mystical Orbs on this bar, 1816. Those two, even Scalding Ruin, right? I believe, yeah, AoE, 8-7. Let's put that fucking piece of shit flame staff back on. Down. 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 Down, 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 and down to justify a wall for a combustion passive. Congratulations. Lose 3 damaging effects to stupidity. You're going to nerf your AoEs to stupidity. That's what it is. Is it or is it not? Is it or is it not? Yes. That's stupidity. Even with this build, it's impressive. I'm not going to rag on everything about it, but that's stupidity. Okay. Now, I'm not using Boss A's. That set can suck my dick. And since I don't need it, well, fuck, I'm taking the extra fucking spell damage. Y'all can kiss my motherfucking ass. And I'm going to take the goddamn least effective ability, because what's this going to do? It's going to amp my shit up. Now let's take a look at my stat sheet. Already, I got him beat in the crit department without even a kilt. Right? $71. I don't even have a kill. 7,700 spell damage. Not 6,900, 7,700. 7,700 with 71 crit. Did I just beat the meta? I even kept the rotation except swapped out one ability. Stat-wise, did I just beat him? Did I? Did I beat his stats? You guys listen to dumbass shit. If you follow this shit and forget fundamentals, especially when it comes to 7 divine, 7 fucking divine, you fucking are dipshit. You don't do math. You don't do math. No, you don't. You're going to replace a lightning staff with AoEs on it for a flame for a combustion passive. You don't do math. You don't do math. No, you don't. You don't do math. He gets a D. The only reason he didn't get the F because he adapted the medium and the Fighters Guild 2 abilities. He's a meta god. He's a meta god. Description's in the link there. I will repeat this. I say they do. Slime Crawl Kill. Who said it? Who has the first timestamp? I do. That fucking bullshit with 3 bloodthirsties. I don't know who was the dumb fuck. Whoever put that in anybody's heads. I don't know why people keep chasing 7 divine when it's been mathematically proven it has diminishing effects. Morons. Over and over again. With that said, I take my bow, flip the bird, and all the fucking meta scum can kiss my ass. Next up, I'm coming for you motherfuckers. I'm coming. Peace.